Returning to dope, but now with speed. Yo, what's up? It's someone that's no one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by Michael, longtime subscriber Michael, the homie. Appreciate you sending this. What Mike the King on Twitter. I'll link him down below. Where he took Diacetylmorphine, aka heroin, methamphetamine, and THC, shatter. Like me some shatter. And here's the full report details. Alright, here we got quite the combination. Pretty sure this is the first time we're covering this, but meth and heroin together. Two notoriously hard drugs, and also some shatter in the mix. And I'll just be straight up now and say this is super dangerous and can be easily deadly mixing these. Michael got pretty lucky here doing this on a whim. This report is a little rough considering the substances, but for the most part, he does have an enjoyable experience, though he does regret it. I'll just let it speak for itself. I'm sure you'll enjoy this, so without further ado, let's dive right into it. This was at a time where I was out of rehab and clean for a while. For the first time in my life, I had enough to live on for a year should I stop working. I felt like I was in a good place. So once my friends from out of town came over, I figured, why not take my chance at riding the dragon again? As you're about to find out, this was a horrible mistake. Background: 24-year-old male, 6 years of experience in drug use. I won't list every substance, but I've had every household name drug except for crack, as well as an alphabet of RCs. At this time, I was living in a cheap Craigslist house in a separate town from where I had my plugs. I lost contact with all of them except two twins who were hard users. Let's call one C and the other B. They arrived at 6 p.m., and C immediately offered me a fat line of brown heroin. I sniffed it and almost instantly felt a warm blanket of apathy come over me. The full effects of heroin take 15 minutes to hit, but after 30 seconds, I had a very analgesic and stimulating high. Opiates act like numbing uppers for me until I reached very high doses. While I was coming up, B offered me a fat line of ice. I was hesitant to take this, but they told me that meth and heroin mix better than opiates or coke. Both of these combos are very dangerous, and I do not recommend anyone try them. But as for my experience, cocaine and fentanyl was one of my most enjoyable highs. So I caved and sniffed the line of ice. The euphoric narcotic effects of the heroin immediately skyrocketed to its peak, while I was filled with a calming yet very intense energy as my heart began racing. To my friends' credit, they were right. This combo kicks ass. C and B began chopping up lines of their own as I went to the kitchen to fill up my water bottle to take a multivitamin. In the kitchen, I noticed that my landlord was at the dining table near my room. My heart began to race with panic as I realized that I could hear my friends sniffing their drugs. So we decided to take our drugs to a park that I would frequently smoke at to do dabs. We felt very paranoid and were scared that my landlord was onto us. But the meth enhanced the beauty of nature. We quickly calmed down while madly chattering like inmates of an insane asylum. I was expecting meth to be like MDMA, where empathy would enhance our conversations. It seemed like we all felt like talking, but we only wanted to talk to hear ourselves talk, until C pulled out the dabs. We each took 4 fat rips from a nectar collector, which was followed by a quite noticeable fractal visual drifting on wood and pavement, similar to a moderate dose of shrooms. We were going giggling like hyenas, until all of us saw cop cars filling up the parking spots near the park. We quickly packed all of our drugs in a frenzy and nearly ran out of the park, only to discover that what we thought were cop cars were only white or black sedans. Realizing that we're hallucinating and tweaking, we all laughed and opted to walk around downtown. The visual effects of this combo made the skyscrapers appear as extra-dimensional constructs that were built by demigods. The walk took our breath away and left us feeling like we were in an alien world of incomprehensible beauty. Once we sat down and got comfortable, I noted that my heart rate was uncomfortably high. So C recommended that I take another line of H to calm my heart rate down. With the second line, my heart rate calmed and I felt more tranquil at first. As the heroin slowly crept up, the feeling of bliss became so intense that I felt dizzy, which was only increased by glowing green and purple fishnet design visuals flowing throughout my peripheral vision. I began to nod off, and these visuals would morph into ever-changing and melting landscapes, similar to that of closed-eye visuals from 600 milligrams plus DXM. They realized that once I was sitting down, my breathing felt forced, and my friends noticed when I nodded off, I wasn't even breathing. C recommended we take a walk back to my place. When I stood back up, my dizziness quickly turned to nausea, and I broke out into a profuse sweat. By the time we made it back, I was barely coherent, but luckily, my landlord was upstairs. As I tried to cool off on the couch, C and B hooked up their Xbox to play some One Punch Man. While they were thoroughly enjoying it, I was drifting in and out of consciousness. Once I nod off, my pulse would go down super low, and I'd have trouble breathing. Then, once I stood up, my heart would race like I ran a marathon, and I'd be gasping for breath. Around 10 p.m., I began to feel super nauseous. With the help of C, he took me to the bathroom, where I filled the bathtub with more vomit than I thought I could produce. After I yacked, we did more dabs, and was brought back to one of the most intense and pleasant highs I've experienced. We continued to watch more One Punch Man, and I was better able to appreciate how well thought out and brilliant the story was. This combo boosted my appreciation for creativity, and for the rest of the night, I was absorbed in the One Punch Man world. We finished the first season around 2 a.m. I still felt speedy, but was able to fall asleep after doing a small line of heroin. I got a great night's sleep and woke up the next day feeling a very pleasant afterglow from the heroin. Overall, this experience was fun, but also very deadly. This combo could kill veterans with high tolerance. Given the fact I had no tolerance, I'm lucky to be alive, and I haven't touched meth or heroin after this. I only really smoke weed now, but drugs seem pointless, and I plan to just quit altogether. Once I'm sober, I'll start making more videos talking about my experiences and what I learned. Life is good, and life isn't worth wasting over life-threatening thrills. I wish your subscribers the best. Stay safe, and don't make the mistakes I did.